Hey cuties, welcome back to my channel. My name is Quori-Tyler, aka QT, aka Books with QT, and in today's video we are doing the 24-hour reading challenge. So you probably know how this works. 24 hours on the clock, I'm reading for all of those 24 hours and seeing how many books I can read. I'm really excited because I love watching these videos. I just don't know how I would do filming one myself, so I'm excited to see today. To know anything about me is to know that I value sleep so much. I love sleeping. This is gonna be tough, but I'm excited about it. I started already, actually, you guys already saw. I started at around 8 a.m., 2 hours in. So we have 22 hours and 2 minutes on the clock right now. Obviously, I'm just gonna keep the timer going even when I'm not exactly reading, but I'm gonna try to read for all of that time. So even before this, when I was making my coffee and stuff, I was listening to an audiobook. If I'm not physically reading, I'm gonna be listening to an audiobook. Gorgeous. What else do I have to tell you? Let's get into the books that I have on my kind of TBR for this challenge. So as you saw this morning, I was reading Ruthless Vows. This is for another video, so I'm not gonna talk about it much in this video. I'm just finishing this one up. I'm not even halfway, honestly. I'm like almost to the halfway mark, but I'm getting through it pretty fast. This is the first book I want to read and finish. That way I can finish the other video quickly this morning. But I won't talk about this too much. If you want to hear my thoughts on this, go to that video. Then, it's very unlike me to be in the middle of multiple books at once, but I'm reading Ruthless Vows and Carrie Soto is Back. Carrie Soto is Back is my book club book of the month for the Discord online book club that we have. It's a free book club if you want to join. The link is always in the description. And we just have to finish this by the end of the month, so I'm just reading it slowly. I've read this book before, so this is actually my first reread I've ever done. I've never reread a book, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the reread. This is what I was listening to on my audiobook when I was making my coffee earlier, because I'm tandem doing audiobook and then sometimes reading it, and I'm loving it probably even more than I loved it the first time. And if you know me, you know that I love Carrie Soto's Back so much, so this means everything to me. Okay, then we have some new books. We're thinking about getting into Love and Other Words. This is if I'm really feeling like I just want a cheesy romance book. I know it's not cheesy, actually. People like love this book and feel like it's poetry, so I know it is crazy. I've never read it before, so I'd love to read it in this video if my mood is feeling like it. Then we have Throne of the Fallen. I can't even really tell you what this book is about. It's a fantasy book, and I've just seen a lot of people reading it, talking about it, so I'd love to read it, and I've had it on my shelf. Honestly, I've only had it on my shelf for about like 2 or 3 weeks now, but I keep looking at it, wanting to pick it up, so this might be the time for me. And then last but not least, The Ministry of Time. This is a book that I was seeing everywhere towards the end of 2024, and it's a pretty short book, which I feel like is good for a 24-hour reading challenge. It's about time travel and figuring out like if time travel is good. I think there's a love story in here. It says a boy meets a girl, the past meets the future, a finger meets a trigger, the beginning meets the end. So I think this is gonna be honestly pretty interesting, and it probably is gonna be the book that I pick up after I finish Ruthless Vows. With all of that being said, this is my TBR. If there's a book on here you want me to read, hopefully I get to it. If not, let me know in the comments below that I should read it. But I'm gonna get back to reading because my timer is currently going and we got some more reading to do. Yesterday was the TikTok ban. Today, TikTok just came back and I spent the last 35 minutes on it, making content and watching some videos. So, but TikTok's back. Okay, back to reading. I had to even reheat up my coffee. Distracted I was, I didn't get to finish eating it. Oh, and my dog is here. But things are going good. I've made it past the halfway point of this book. Okay, we have made it 4 hours into the challenge. It's so crazy not seeing the 20 there anymore. We're down to 18 hours, 58 minutes, and 13 seconds. Let's do a little roundup of how much I've read so far. In Ruthless Vows, I've read 160 pages, and then of Carrie Soto is Back, I listened to and read about 50 pages. So I've done 210 pages, which feels pretty good, I think. I also was doing some other stuff too, and had to film like the intro of this video and stuff, so that took away some of the time. But I'm just gonna sit here and finish binging Ruthless Ruthless Vows. I only have about 120 pages, 125 pages left of this one, and I'll be done with that, and then we'll see what I'm gonna get to next. Either just sit here and finish out Carrie Soto or start a new book. I'm not sure where I want to go yet. Having fun. We also did a reading sprint in the Discord for the book club, and that was fun to know that like other people were reading around the same time, and in about 45 minutes we're doing our second sprint. Fun times. Okay, you're currently balancing on my Stanley and I think you're gonna fall any second, but we are literally exactly 7 hours into the challenge and I finished my first book. Again, gonna talk about this more in the finishing book series I'm in the middle of video, so watch that video, which is out already. But now it is 3:12 p.m. and I'm hungry, so me and my sister are gonna go to get Chipotle. While I'm in the car, I'm gonna be listening to an audiobook so that I continue to read. So I read a total of 350 pages in 7 hours. It's about 50 pages an hour, which means I need to start speeding things up a little bit, I think. But I want to try to get through at least 2 more books in this challenge. I mean, I guess I can. I'm literally staying up until tomorrow morning. I'll have time. So, like I said, gonna go to Chipotle right now, listen to an audiobook in the car. I'm thinking listen to Carrie Soto's Back because I also would like to finish that. I hate being in the middle of 2 books at once, so maybe even before starting my next book, I finish Carrie Soto. Does that sound like a plan? That's the plan for right now, but let's go get something to eat. Absolute favorite part of the book is coming up, and it's when Carrie Soto is versing Cortez at Wimbledon. There's nothing like this scene. Okay. What Carrie Soto says is exactly how I feel reading this. She said, "And now I do not want to fast forward through the next moment at all. I want to experience every second of this." Because it's like match point. I freaking love Carrie Soto. There's no character I've ever read in any book ever that I love more than Carrie Soto. And I said it. I came back in bed because if I can be completely transparent with you guys, I feel like I should since we're doing this 24-hour reading challenge together. I got my period today, and so my cramps, I'm not feeling great. I just want to lay in bed, so I'm in bed. But what I was gonna say about Carrie Soto is that I think why I love it so much is because her character development in this book is absolutely insane, next level, like nothing I've ever read before. And I'm realizing in reading it a second time just how important all the little relationships are in her life. Like literally her agent that just gets her brand deals and stuff. You can see how their relationship kind of changes from the beginning of her just being an agent and Carrie being very cold to her to now all of a sudden towards the end of the book, Carrie telling her that like she's more like a sister to her, and that's something that Carrie Soto would never say at the beginning of this book. And I just love how you see her heart start to open up to people a little bit more as she's starting to realize that like tennis is great and she's great at playing tennis, but that's not all she has to be. Relationships should be more than just transactional and what you can get out of people. I don't know if any of that's making sense, but that's just why I love Carrie Soto. Number 2 is complete. Okay, let me tell you how many pages I've read so far. We have about 14 hours left, which means I've done 10 hours. Oh my gosh, I just hit the 10-hour mark, and let's see how many pages I've read in 10 hours. Okay, 10 hours in and I've read 480 pages. I honestly need to speed things up. I feel it should be at like, I don't want to be closer to like 550 or something like that. So I'm gonna eat a little something and then it's time for me to pick my next book of the video. I'm glad I got done the books that I was in the middle of though. Now I can just kind of start fresh and see how long it takes me to read a book from beginning to very end. At first, before I finished Carrie Soto's back, I was like, I think I need to do not fantasy books. I was thinking Love in Other Words because I was like, I need to be grounded. I want to be in like real life, contemporary romance type vibes. But now after reading this, I feel like this grounded me a little bit. So now I'm kind of feeling like I could do a fantasy, but then I'm like, maybe I do an in-between, do Ministry of Time, where it's like otherworldly kind of time travel and all that stuff, but based in like reality sort of. So I don't know. We shall see. But I'm having so much fun. I'm feeling very awake right now. I mean, it's only 6:19, so we'll see where the night takes me. Okay, I just ate my Chipotle. We're at 13 hours, 20 minutes. And you guys, remember just now when I said that I wasn't tired and I was feeling great? That Chipotle put me into a slump. I didn't even eat the whole bowl and I just feel like it knocked the wind out of me. But now it's time to pick our next book. I'm gonna be honest, it's not gonna be Throne of the Fallen. What even is this? I think it's about like the 7 sins or something. I don't feel like jumping into another fantasy book right now. Love in Other Words. I can't believe this is a book I have not read yet. Second Chance Romance. I hear it's very similar to Every Summer After. Childhood Friends to Lovers, question mark. I'm getting to the point too where like I'm reading words and they're not computing in my head. Like words are just words to me right now. I fear I'm starting to get delusional and it's only 7 p.m. Or the Ministry of Time. Ministry of Time is about time travel. Do I like feel like going there right now? Let me read the first page of both books and see which one is giving. Okay, I mean, it sounds interesting, but it's very big brain. I can just tell from the first sentence. We're gonna go for Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Things are happening and I can't lie, I'm a bit scared. I'm currently not okay. I did not expect to be destroyed at 12:48 a.m. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know if it's because I've been reading all day. It's really late. I'm starting to feel delusional. I'm also PMSing, so maybe I'm highly emotional, but this thing right here just took it out of me. I can't even think about it without crying. The ending of this book, the whole time I was reading this book, I was like, okay, this is a really good book. I understand why people love it so much. I'm not even gonna lie, like maybe even 50% of the way in, I was like, I think I'm giving this a 4-star. I don't think it's gonna be a 5-star like everyone else says. By the time we got to the end of this book, you guys saw, I was sobbing. I couldn't even see the words on the paper because I've never cried this hard at a book, ever. Wow. And it's crazy because I've read a lot. Okay, I have so many things to say about this. First thing I have to say, a lot of people compare this to Every Summer After, which Every Summer After was my first 5-star read my first book that I ever gave a 5-star after getting back into reading a few years ago. I don't think it's really like Every Summer After the way people are making it seem. The comparison is that they're both childhood friends to lovers and dual timelines, but there's so many contemporary romance books that are that. This felt very different to me, way more emotional. Something about the 2 main characters in this one just felt a little bit more connected to me, like they really understood each other's souls, like on a personal level. Macy and Elliot are 2 characters that I think were truly made for each other, more than in any book I've ever read. Like, I seriously am having an out-of-body experience with this book. So yes, I am giving this a 5-star. I can say that confidently right now. And I'm so happy I sat here and read it in one sitting because I feel like it means even more to me because of that, because I just got to consume it all without forgetting anything, like literally front cover to back cover. Anyways, we still have 6 hours and 45 minutes left of this challenge. It's 1:26 currently, and I truly am feeling so tired. So we are about to go get some caffeine downstairs in the kitchen. Okay, so it's been 17 hours. I've read a total of 938 pages, and I finished my 3rd book. I'm thinking I can get one more book in fully. I'm just trying to decide what I want it to be. I don't think I can do another like contemporary romance right now because I think I'll be in a slump after this, honestly. So the 2 options I'm thinking of are Throne of the Fallen or The Ministry of Time. Looks like it's only 330 pages, and that's not too bad. That makes it feel like I can finish this and maybe even start Throne of the Fallen. But I feel like this is gonna be a dense read. Like, you really have to put your brain on and get ready to start reading. But let me just clear my head. Let's go downstairs and get some caffeine and then come back and talk about it all. Okay, got my caffeine, and it has been decided we are starting The Ministry of Time. I'll let you guys know how it goes. It's currently 2:45 and I'm seriously deeply unwell. I'm having a hard time reading. Also, I want to address the elephant in the room. This is my bear Gappy. I've had him since I was like 2 or 3 years old. He's from the Gap. I've slept with him every single night since I was a kid. But yes, I do use him as a pillow sometimes because he just props my head up perfectly. It might look like I'm squishing him, but it's out of love. I'm only 38 pages into The Ministry of Time, and I actually am really liking it. It's just hard for me to read right now because words are not going into this, if you're catching my drift. I'm like actually getting to like that drunk, sleepy kind of vibe, you know? But yeah, words are just not computing. I read a whole chapter and didn't realize different chapters in this book are in different people's perspectives. I just read a whole chapter and didn't realize I was in someone else's perspective. So, and I didn't go back to reread it through the perspective I was supposed to read it from. So now I'm a little lost, but it's okay. We're gonna push through. I'm trying to get to like page 100 before I even like pick up my phone to scroll, because I do feel like I need to give myself some time to scroll on my phone for a bit. I feel like I rambled a lot. Editing QT, you can literally take all of that out if you want. May or may not have just fallen asleep for the last 2.5 hours. A little more than 2.5 hours, honestly, almost 3 hours. It's currently 6 a.m. on the dot. We have 2 hours and 11 minutes left of this challenge. So I'm just gonna get back to reading. All I remember is that I was reading this page 5 times, and every time I would read it, I would fall asleep in the middle of the page. And then I just let myself go. So I'm gonna get back to reading now. You guys, this challenge is officially over. I'm not even gonna lie, I look crazy right now. I'm about to go to sleep because I can't keep my eyes open another second. I got 110 pages into The Ministry of Time. It's been so hard to read, truly. I'm gonna get some sleep and then come back and talk to you when I'm a little bit more coherent, if that's okay for everyone. So good night, but also good morning. Hello lovelies, it's a few days after I completed the 24-hour readathon. Honestly, that morning that I finished, I went to sleep and did not wake up until the middle of the afternoon. I was not okay. But we're gonna go over the books that I read during the challenge, how I felt about it, and all that good stuff. Okay, so the first book that I finished was Ruthless Vows. Like I said, I was reading this for my video where I finished book series I'm in the middle of, so go to that video to hear more of my thoughts about this. Then I finished my book club book of the month, Carrie Soto is Back. This has been a 5-star for me since the first day I read this like 2.5 years ago. Because I read it so early in my reading journey, I didn't know if it would fall into that category of books that you read early on that are really good, but when you compare them to books you've read since then, it doesn't always live up. But I will say that this definitely lived up to the hype that I created around it, and I will continue to recommend this book forever and ever. I'm obsessed with Carrie Soto. I think she's not only like one of my favorite characters that I've read about, but she's the character that I think I relate to the most. She's very resilient and strong-minded, and almost to a fault sometimes, where she has an idea of what she wants to do, and no matter what anyone says to her, her plan is always going to take precedent in her life. And I feel like I'm very headstrong like that. It's a Leo thing maybe. But yeah, I just appreciated how authentic Carrie Soto is, and I'm obsessed with this book. Then the first full book that I read in this video that I had not already started prior to it is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. And you guys saw the clips. I sobbed like a baby. Like, I honestly probably won't put in some of the clips of me crying because snot was coming out of my nose. It was like uncontrollable. My dog was barking. Things were chaotic. It was also like 2 in the morning, and I couldn't control myself. I've read a lot of other Christina Lauren books, and I always love their books, but they're always very rom-com-y and funny and, I don't know, like interesting but not deep. And I felt like this was the first one I read from them that was really deep and emotional. A new 5-star book for me. And then the last book that I started in this video, I've actually since finished this book, but I read it in I continued reading it in another vlog that I started that you guys will see after this video. But The Ministry of Time, this one, honestly, I think I made a mistake by reading this one as my last book of the challenge, and when it was like 3 in the morning, because this takes a lot of brain power to really fully understand. It's talking about time travel and conspiracy theories and the government and, I don't know, all these crazy things, and like historical figures coming back to the present time from like the 1700s. And so some of the ways that some of these people talk it's just like hard to understand. So this is very out of my comfort zone of a book, but I will say overall, I think I enjoyed it. The ending was just so crazy. The ending is what I enjoyed. I didn't have a great time reading it. Like, I wasn't excited to pick it up every day, but by the end of it, I felt like it was worth it because the end really blew my mind. And I gave this one a 4-star. I think it's more like a 3.75, but I'll be generous and give it 4 stars. So in this video, I read 3.5 books, 1,049 pages, and I only slept for about 2 hours. So I did technically, I guess, 22 hours, but what are you gonna do? We fall asleep reading sometimes. It was the middle of the night. I'm very proud of myself for doing that. This was on my bucket list for 2025, was to complete my first 24-hour reading challenge because I love watching these videos. So I hope that you guys truly enjoyed this. Let me know if you want me to do this again. I want to do it again, but I think this is what I will say. I think if I did this video again, I would start in the nighttime. That way, the whole day I have like full sunlight and all of that stuff to kind of keep me going. Because I think what happened is around like 7 p.m. I started getting really tired because the sun was going down and I was just naturally starting to feel like it was time to wind down. That will be for the next time. Let me know if you guys want to see that. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!